Now, as we said, first time in a long time, no Mercedes on the podium. It all went wrong for Lewis Hamilton at the start. Pretty slow off the line and overtaken by both of the Ferraris, overtaken by his teammate Nico Rosberg as well. And then going through the chicane on that first lap, he says his teammate pulled in front of him. Did he? Really? It looked like Lewis, don't want to use the word panicked, but certainly wasn't quite himself. Seemed to be at 6s and 7s all the way through the day. Second stint of the race, he was fantastic on the soft tyres. Ultimately, though, a mistake, a penalty. It was not the world champion's day. And in spite of that, he leaves Hungary with an extended championship lead. Sometimes the luck really is with you. Rosberg seemed to be the one who could have taken this victory at the end. Again, though, the luck seemed to work against Nico Rosberg. It was not the day that either Mercedes driver wanted, as was obvious when we spoke to them after the race. That was a very topsy-turvy race. Let's start with ultimately the part that caused the result, the contact with Daniel. Talk us through it from your perspective.
Yeah, great pity. He gave it a go and overshot. I held the corner, and then from my point of view, it's my corner, you know. So I can use all the track on the exit, but he had his front wing in there, and that was the end of it.
Ultimately, the stewards decided it was a racing incident, but not so much from your perspective.
No, I didn't. I trust the steward's decision in the end, you know. Then I haven't seen it on TV, so just got to go with what they decide.
How disappointing is this, considering that you could have won the race today? Definitely a strong second position, which would have taken you to the top, if not far from the top of the championship.
Yeah, very disappointing, of course. Sport is definitely tough sometimes.
But in the race itself, didn't seem to have the pace today of the Ferraris. Is that a worry for you going into the second half of the season? They seem to have caught up quite as much as they have.
No, it's not a worry. I still think we're strong, but yes, we need to analyse why we weren't quick enough today.
What a roller coaster of a day for you. Let's talk about that opening lap if we can. First the start, and then obviously that incident with Nico seeing you go off track.
Yeah, I don't really remember it, to be honest. It was such a turbulent race. It was just a really bad day in the office. By the grace of God, I got through it and still got some points, so I'm grateful for that.
The strategy seemed to work out really well for you ultimately, despite that disappointment at the start. Did you feel the race starting to come to you in that second stint on the softs?
I mean, I was working as hard as I could to get back, and then the restart, I couldn't believe it. Like, I'd finally got back into the fight, and in the restart, I ran out of the road, and I just ran out of grip whilst trying to keep him behind. Ended up losing the place. So I mean, I don't really have much to say except it was I couldn't really avoid it at the time, so it was unfortunate. Fortunately, it didn't take any other driver out.
It's the price you pay for pushing, I guess. It was very exciting for all of us to be able to watch that from trackside. I guess in the cockpit, not so exciting, more frustrating.
I think today just it's when you make mistakes and and it affects the team. That's definitely, it hurts, but what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. So.
Now, if it was a disappointing weekend for the Mercedes duo, just imagine what it's like being the Williams drivers this weekend. They led at Silverstone in the last Grand Prix, led the race. This weekend, neither driver in the points. Yeah, they were expecting a difficult weekend. They were not expecting it to be quite that hard. We spoke to Valtteri Bottas after the race, so here he is on a very disappointing afternoon for Williams. So nobody could have imagined both cars out of the points today.
Yeah, really unlucky race for us. It started pretty well, and we were fighting, fifth, sixth, and then got a puncture in the restart. Someone hit me from the back. I don't know yet who, so quite unlucky.
Now, if Williams were disappointed and Mercedes were disappointed, imagine what it's like being Force India right now. B-Spec car looked brilliant at Silverstone. It didn't look bad here either, particularly when you consider fastest through the speed trap throughout the weekend. But then there was that flip for Sergio Perez in Friday practice, rear suspension failure, which the team put down to the fact that there were these elongated periods of running over the rumble strip, which caused that rear right suspension to fail. And put Perez into that accident and ultimately flip him over. Then in the race today, a race which was going really well, Nico Hülkenberg in a solid points-paying position, running really well in P5, and given what happened at the end with all those guys coming into each other, who knows what might have happened, a potential podium maybe, but his front wing gave way under the car, exploded into a million pieces of carbon fibre, and put the German a really heavy impact into the barrier at the end of the start-finish straight. So they retired Sergio Perez after that as well, after he'd come into contact with Pastor Maldonado, and he wasn't happy about the way Pastor raced. Told us that there are you can race wheel-to-wheel with every driver in Formula 1 apart from Pastor. Strong words from Perez. Anyway, we'll give you the words of Nico Hülkenberg, given that, once again, it's a failure for this brand new B-Spec car, seemingly caused maybe by disruption over the curbs, but certainly an issue with the structural integrity of this new specification of the Force India. Scary incident, big impact. First question, are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay, no problem.
Did you get any warning about it, any vibrations, anything beforehand?
Yes, I probably got half a second's notice before it happened. I could just feel, very harsh vibrations suddenly, but then it already, I think, happened and failed, and lost basically contact between the wheels and the ground, and can't steer, can't really brake, and you're just going straight.
Structural failure for Checo on his suspension on Friday, structural failure of your wing today. With a week until the factory shuts down, is structural integrity going to have to be a focus on this B-Spec chassis?
I think, yes. Obviously, it's two different issues that we have this weekend, but it's not good, and I'm sure the team will work hard now to understand it and really get some fixings in place. I have no doubt that our boys will fix it come Spa.
As we said at the start, it's been a very emotional week for everybody in Formula 1, perhaps none more so than for Fernando Alonso, who was incredibly close to Jules Bianchi, so close in fact, and so hurt and upset was he by Jules' passing that he couldn't even bring himself to go to the funeral. He's really been hit hard by this, and what was incredible today was to see him pull that McLaren Honda, which has struggled not just to reach the end of races, but when it has reached the end of races to be in the points. He pulled it to a 5th place today. So obviously we spoke to him about that, but mostly what it meant for him, for everybody, to go out and have a hard race at the end of such a difficult week. So we will end this, because his words are lovely, with the words of Fernando Alonso as he remembers his friend, Jules Bianchi. What a great result. That must feel fantastic after pushing your car back to the pits yesterday to be standing here well in the points.
Yeah, unbelievable. I think the race was quite good for us. Obviously, 5th is a little present for us in this moment. We are not super competitive, so the race was a little bit chaotic in some parts of it, and we took the advantage that came to us, and we maximized the result.
At the end of what's been a very difficult half a season, a little ray of light perhaps going into this midweek break, mid-season break?
Yeah, definitely. Not much for us, I think, for the whole team. People at the factory working 24 hours a day just to keep updating the car, and to get some results, to touch really some points is good way to go on the break, and in the second part of the season we need to maximize the performance, to increase our level, because we need to get some good preparation for next year.
An emotional week for everybody. How much was this race today, such an exciting one, so many battles, length and breadth of it, how much was this what everyone needed, particularly you guys in the cockpit, to move on?
Yeah, it was not easy weekend, with especially the beginning of the race with the minute of silence. It was very emotional and very tough to go in the cockpit, but we are 20 people here, very, very lucky people, working in our passion, in our sport, like Jules did, and we are privileged to drive those cars, and respecting him and respecting the sport, I think we put a good show.